WWE's Elimination Chamber is live from Perth, Western Australia on Saturday morning, 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 a.m. Pacific, and 6 p.m. Australian time, I guess. But I'll tell you right now, guys, first, before we get into all my predictions, I just want to say first, I am so excited to see WWE head down to a city that is very close and dear to my heart. I spent all of 2007 in Perth, Western Australia, living, experiencing the culture, the food, the people, everything that you can do as a tourist. Shout out Breakwater Tavern, Hillary's Boat Harbor, and all the bartenders that I used to work with back then, but that was almost 20 years ago. But anyways, on to the video. Here are my predictions.
Some AEW fans will say different. The best tag team of all time. Do you feel him, sir?
Starting off on the pre-show, a match that I did not know or I wasn't aware of until we watched the press conference earlier, that the Kabuki Warriors are going to be putting their titles on the line against Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell on the pre-show. And listen, the Kabuki Warriors are getting such a massive push, especially with this storyline with Bayley and Dakota Kai, and I really think this is going to be another step in a positive direction for, one, the Kabuki Warriors, and two, the Bayley Dakota Kai conversation. Unfortunately, Indy and Candice are going to be the ones that have to pay the price for this, because really nobody believes that the Kabuki Warriors are going to be dropping these titles anytime before WrestleMania. So my prediction is the Kabuki Warriors, but I love the fact that Indy Hartwell is getting a shout at the Elimination Chamber in her home country of Australia, and that just, for me, makes everything so much better. Indy Hartwell is going to get the pop of her life, and it's going to be phenomenal to see this match. The WWE Undisputed Tag Team Champions Damian Priest and Finn Balor of the Judgment Day go into a match against the New Catch Republic. God, what were WWE thinking allowing that name to happen? It makes no sense to me. I don't understand it. There's got to be like a story behind it or something, but that is Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, who have been on a phenomenal roll since they teamed up and they allowed Pete Dunne to have his name back. I love this idea. I love that this is a tag team. It is showing like the British strong style type of wrestling, but we've also not seen a lot from Damian Priest and Finn Balor when it comes to in-ring performances and defense of their title. I still believe Damian and Finn are going to retain their titles, but the biggest thing here, I do believe there's going to be a story coming out of the Elimination Chamber that Finn and Damian Priest are going to have to separate their titles, and they may or may not have to defend one set of titles on night one and one set of titles on night two. But either way, again, Finn Balor, Damian Priest are going to come out on top. Judgment Day will probably get a run-in from either Dom or the Human Funko Pop, JD McDonough. I don't see the New Catch Republic getting the tag team titles just yet, but they are tag team championship caliber, so we could see that on the road to WrestleMania, if not later on in 2024. Let's head on over to the Women's Elimination Chamber. Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch, Tiffany Stratton, Liv Morgan, Naomi, and the returning Raquel Rodriguez. First off, I just want to say congratulations to Raquel on getting over all of her medical issues. That was a scary situation that she went through over the last, I think, 6 months, and I'm just super happy that she's back and she's healthy and she's able to do what she loves. I think they could have put some other more worthy talent at this point in time into this match. Michin, Zelina Vega, they have been putting on awesome matches and really building their brand when it comes to like the types of matches that they have been putting on. I think some of the matches Michin has had over the last couple of months, especially her women's championship match on SmackDown against Io, I think could go down as one of the women's matches of the year for 2024. that's a big shout, but if you haven't watched it, go back and watch that. But let's talk about this match. Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch, they're really building this Becky Lynch never being in the chamber before, which I like, but if they do put Becky as the one who's going to win this match, I really think it was a little too obvious. And WWE tends to do this, but for Becky Lynch and getting to Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, it's going to be a huge pop, and I think that's the match that they need to book for WrestleMania. Bianca Belair, incredible talent, incredible athlete. I just don't see that being her road to WrestleMania. But let's not forget about Tiffany Stratton and Liv Morgan. First off, Tiffany Stratton, she's an incredible athlete. I think she's the one actually taking the first pin and going to be eliminated quite early in this match. Naomi returning, she is a blockbuster talent, and I'm really enjoying what they're doing with her so far, kind of letting her have her own run, find her feet. But I do see a bunch of feuds there. I actually see a potential feud with Bianca Belair, and that could be something really special going into the WrestleMania season. My dark horse is Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan put on a hell of a show. First off, in the last 2 Royal Rumbles, she's come back from an injury looking like $1 million. And everyone forgets how well she performed in the Elimination Chamber last year. She thrives. This woman thrives on the insane. And I think what's best for business, she has a massive history with Rhea Ripley. She performs well in big events, and everyone has already been seeing the rumors that Liv is going to have a big spot at WrestleMania. So I'm going to run with this. I'm going to say the winner of the Women's Elimination Chamber is Liv Morgan. I think the safe bet would be Becky Lynch, but I'm going to say the winner of the Elimination Chamber is Liv Morgan. Guys, let me know in the comments, out of those 6 women, who you think is, one, most deserving, and secondly, who is the one that you think is going to come out on top. Now let's talk about the Men's Elimination Chamber. Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Bobby Lashley, LA Knight, Kevin Owens, and Logan Paul. Massive names, massive talent, a bunch of world titles in there, guys that are selling merch left, right, and center, and guys that are doing some of their best work in their career. LA Knight is still got that lightning in a bottle. The fans are still super over with him. WWE has kind of calmed him down a little bit, but I see that as they've got something planned probably after WrestleMania, or they are going to build the feud for LA Knight to go for a title at WrestleMania with Logan Paul in this chamber match, which I like. So LA Knight potentially costing Logan Paul and having him get eliminated could lead us, or the other way around, could lead us to a feud with LA Knight and Logan Paul for the US title at Mania. Love that. Kevin Owens, always a great performer in big matches, dangerous matches. He's always willing to go over and above and take that sketchy spot, which I'm really looking forward to. I just don't think that Kevin Owens is the one that people want to see at WrestleMania. I love Kevin Owens. I think he is WrestleMania main event caliber at all times. I just think right now, with how everything's being built, Kevin Owens just isn't that guy yet, but he will have a big spot at WrestleMania. Bobby Lashley confuses me. I don't understand why Bobby Lashley is in the chamber. He's got this feud going on with the Final Testament and the Street Profits and the AOP, and it just feels like Bobby Lashley was in there as a filler. We do know Bronson Reed was going away to start his family. I think his wife was giving birth very shortly, so maybe that's the reason Bronson Reed wasn't actually in the chamber match, because I think Bronson Reed was the smart choice, being from Adelaide. So Bronson Reed not being there is kind of a disappointment, but Bobby Lashley just doesn't make sense to me with any current feuds going into WrestleMania, so I don't see Bobby Lashley winning. Now, the two I'm looking at, Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. Randy Orton's back. He's taken big victories. He's not taking a pin. They're trying to protect Randy Orton. I just don't see how Randy Orton makes his way out of the chamber unscathed with his back. I will say this, there has been a couple of matches Randy has looked a couple of steps behind and looked like that back is really bothering him. So like, how fully healed is Randy Orton right now to build a massive feud with Seth Rollins going into WrestleMania? Don't get me wrong, Randy Orton taking the world title from Seth Rollins, woo! Please, God bless. You know what? I know Seth Rollins needs a break. He's been going a mile a minute for a couple of years. Randy Orton being the guy, I would love to see it, but I don't want to see a face versus a face at WrestleMania. So my pick, my boy, big Drew McIntyre. And like I said at the start of the video, there are people that are doing incredible things character-wise. The best characters that we have seen from them ever in their career, and Drew McIntyre is the top of the table right now for what he is doing when it comes to his character. Everyone says, oh, he's so boring, he's dry, he's limited. No, the work that Drew McIntyre is doing is exactly what Drew McIntyre did when he was released and he went to the Indies. If you go to any of the stuff from Scotland and the UK when Drew was first released, and you look at the savage that release brought out, that's what we're getting. And I said at the start of the year, Drew McIntyre is going to have the heel run of 2024. He is going to be the best heel in the business in 2024, and he's showing it across all his social media platforms and everything he is doing. Drew McIntyre, I believe, truly walks out of the Elimination Chamber, and Drew McIntyre wins the world title at WrestleMania. Now, the dark horse is Sami Zayn in all of this, and we'll get to that in another video, but right now, I do believe Drew McIntyre is the one that walks out of the Elimination Chamber as the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship against Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 40. Nia Jax versus Rhea Bloody Ripley. Listen, if you did not watch the press conference, let's head back to that first and make sure you see how over Rhea Ripley as a heel is going into this event. Rhea Ripley is the hottest thing in Australia next to the weather, and I'll tell you right now, I've lived in WA before, and that weather gets up to 100, 120 at times if you live in the States, so it gets hot down there, and Rhea Ripley is just as hot with the fans right now, and I love every second of it. She deserves it. She's one of the hardest working women in the business. I don't see how Nia Jax leaves with the women's world title. If that is the case, I think WWE is completely walking away from the fact of send the fans home happy. Hey, they did it to the fans at WrestleMania 39 with Cody Rhodes losing to Roman Reigns in a sketchy fashion, and they're probably going to do it at WrestleMania 40 again. Hashtag Cody Crybabies. But there is no way Rhea Ripley loses to Nia Jax in her home country with how over she is, with how much merch she is selling, and she's not losing the world title. So my victor in that match is Rhea Bloody Ripley. I think this is going to be a wild match, but I don't see how Rhea Ripley loses the world title in Perth. And the last thing we got to talk about for the Elimination Chamber is the Grayson Waller effect. First off, big shout out to Perth. Putting Waller over is probably the best day in his entire career the other night when they were doing the press conference in front of the Superstore in Perth. Grayson Waller was so over, doing shoeies, making fun of Corey Graves, just hyping the crowd up like a true Aussie would. So I really enjoyed that. But we have to remember we have the Grayson Waller effect. We have Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes on the Grayson Waller effect in Perth. So what do we expect from this? We've already heard Roman Reigns is not traveling down to Perth. Okay. We've already also heard the rumor that The Rock has not traveled down to Perth. So what can happen for Cody and Seth to build this promo? I'm thinking something with Solo and Jimmy and Paul Heyman, obviously, but is it really going to get the reaction that it needs if neither both The Rock and Roman both aren't there? That's something I struggle with. So I think we could potentially get a surprise appearance of The Rock, even though Triple H says The Rock did not travel down to Perth, but he will be on a lot of shows moving forward. I just don't see how the Grayson Waller effect can get the pop it deserves without one of the two biggest heels in the business right now in The Rock and Roman Reigns. Guys, let me know your predictions. Am I way off on my predictions this time? And let me know what you are most excited for when it comes to the Elimination Chamber. I will be live on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/MrTeshk at 4:30 a.m. Eastern time. I will also be live on TikTok. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and put the bell on for all notifications that are my channel. And on Monday, I will be releasing my YouTube video about meeting Hulk Hogan and how that whole situation came to be. Like always, guys,